Bruce, if you can.
Oh, I can mute me.
Where?
Mute it.
Okay, we're on the YouTube.
Okay, good. There's still some people joining. Okay. This is one more. Sally's coming on.
They're coming one at a time here.
Yep. Okay, well, I guess we'll get going. Okay. Welcome, Hammond North. It's December 3rd, 6:02 p.m. So for the call attendance, Randy Vaughn,
Here.
Chris Conti,
Here.
Ben Welch,
Here?
Tracy Smiley,
Here.
Tom Deeds,
Here.
and Tim Fritz.
Here.
Okay, so before we get to the invoices, which is the next item on our agenda, I'd just like to announce to the owners that we have reached agreement with Venture. So we've communicated that to Isaac Hines that it looks favorable, and we'll be taking a vote later in the meeting in terms of approving that. So I just want to announce that now.
In terms of approving what, John?
Approving offer the projected sales agreement, project sales agreement contract with Venture Capital. So the first order that we have on our agenda would be the invoices. Tracy, you have some invoices for us to approve?
Oh, no, I was gonna send those over next time. I just mentioned the one for Seal, on the agenda. I thought we were gonna just talk about the one we approved for Hunt, in the amount of $827. But I will send those over after this meeting.
Okay. So yeah, there was the unanimous approval of what we hope to be the last construction bill from Hunt that we approved by unanimous consent. All right, then the next item I have for announcements would be Tim Fritz on the winterization of the building.
So far, Four-Star has been installing HVAC units. Greg will have to give me an update on exactly where they are on that project. But the surveys of the temperatures in the building have been satisfactory, even during this extended cold front over the last few days. So Greg has been surveying the building and making sure that we have satisfactory conditions in the building.
Thank you. Any questions from any of the board members on this, on the winterization project? Randy?
And do we have any idea when Four Star will be finished with their work?
I did not get a chance to talk to Greg today. Greg, do you have an update on that?
Yes, Tim, as of this afternoon, they have completed the project that we've provided to them to date. So they've installed 14 fan coil units. All of them, as of this afternoon, are now in operation. And in addition to that, the 08 unit fan coils were connected and activated as of this afternoon, and that's 9 through 16, 08. So those units were previously installed, but not completely activated, whether it was plumbing or whether it was electrical. And as of this afternoon, all those are completed as well.
And can you just share, Greg, with the owners, what the temperature differential is between the outside air and the building air?
Well, this afternoon, or this morning rather, we had a few concerns, and that's before the rest of the units were activated, because unbeknownst to us, some of the electric was shut off by the respective owners. So some of our coldest spots this morning were running about 39 to 43 degrees, and that's an outside air temperature was sitting at 24. So with air temperatures projected to be around 15 degrees this Friday, that was a little concerning, but we're not as concerned now as much after we finished the installs and activations as of this afternoon. So we went through and opened up some doors in some other areas to offset that until we can kind of better monitor it. And again, with those additional units that were activated this afternoon, over the next 2 days, we'll kind of revisit some of the areas that were a bit of a concern earlier this morning. But in most cases, we're running 69 to 71, 72 degrees in the upper floors and in most of the corner units. So we felt pretty good about that, considering the outside air temperatures were averaging about 24 to 27 earlier this morning.
And,
Right.
and that from the corner units, the units in the center of the building, they're getting enough of that heat to be okay.
Yes, yes. And we had enough of those that were still activated, so through the chimney effect, the ambient heat was taking care of that. So we just had more of a concern in the corner units on 5 and 14. But like I said, after the additional activation today, I'm fairly confident that that's going to take care of that. And again, we'll monitor that as we go forward.
Any other board questions?
Hey, Greg, I know you were saying like we've done some and was wrapping up, but have they sent over some of the invoices? I thought I saw a few, but correct me if I'm wrong if that's the actual invoices to be paid.
The only one that we received to date was for the electrical piece to that, and
Okay.
that was a little over 7,000, which I sent you all in the last couple of days. I have
Okay,
not.
but that's not the final
No,
ones.
no, I'm waiting for
Okay.
Four Star to finish that up, and being that they just finished that up today,
Okay.
I should get that here in the next couple of days.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, Randy?
We have a chat question if the board's done.
Sure. Go ahead.
Should we go ahead? Has Hunt transferred the permits to the board?
Well, I can answer that. I was in communication with the city, and the city says basically the permit was Four Star, the same firm that installed the HVAC systems on the top floors, and that it was in the name of the homeowner association, so we didn't have to any transfer. The city has signed off on that. There's no problem.
Okay.
Any other questions any owners want to raise? Electronic hand?
There's another chat question about the fact that we're 69 or 70 degrees in some places. What people have to understand is that this is sort of a trial and error thing. There's no exact science right now in terms of how many units we need to turn on. So we're going to be, Greg is going to be monitoring the building and adjusting as necessary as we go through this. But there's no formula to tell us exactly how to run the building right now. That's going to be sort of a trial and error kind of thing. Monitor and adjust, monitor and adjust, monitor and adjust.
Well, and some of it is due to, we're trying to supplement where there isn't any heat. And so we're having to increase it in some areas to compensate for some of the areas that either have no power or have no unit or all the above. So we are trying to balance that. Yeah, 70 seems like a little bit high, but it's also to compensate for the other areas where we don't have any heat, to keep that in a reasonable level. Like I said, we're ranging from 36.7 degrees, maybe about 38 degrees in our coldest spot, all the way up to 70. So it is a little bit of a balancing act right now.
Do you want to address the water question also?
What's the water question? I didn't see it.
People, there's a comment that drain the pipes, we don't need the water.
We have drained, Greg and his folks have drained what they can. What the problem is that the building was not designed to be perfectly drained. So there are certain areas where there will be water sitting in the pipes because there are low spots in the plumbing. It was never designed to be perfectly drained, totally dry. So Greg is going on experience from knowing that there's been water that has set in pipes that we weren't able to get drained out.
Are there any other questions?
There's a chat question that doesn't relate to this winterization, so I'll hold it until we get
Yeah,
there.
I think we should hold them. And this isn't that we just did the regular meeting last week and or 2 weeks ago, and let's hold questions. We can answer, we copy the chat and we can answer owners individually for that. The next item I have is the sale of the building, which is, as I said earlier, well, Mike, you have a question? You can unmute Mike.
Fine, there we go.
And Mike, is a question on winterization.
Yeah, I do. How much money are we spending a month to maintain this building with nobody in it?
With all due respect, I don't think that's really a question on winterization. And you could send the question as an email to us. We can answer that individually.
Is that going to come out of the proceeds from the sale of the building? Is this getting ready to be 0 degrees this weekend? I was just kind of curious.
Yeah.
The money for this point will come out of the budget. And at times, there are times there's a shortfall, and I believe that is, Tracy, you can answer that.
Yeah.
There's a time when we did transfer some funds.
Yeah, so Mike, these are operating expenses. We have a budget for that. Whether we're talking water, telephone, heat, what have you. The units we're talking about to maintain the building. So that comes out of our operating budget.
Okay, well, our offer was to purchase the building before now to save the HOE these expenses. So I was just curious what we're spending now.
Okay.
I won't comment on that. I think we can address that offline. But we do have an annual budget that we adhere to.
I'd also add that we, beyond that, it was the board's decision early on to say we had to prepare for winter. It was a concern by Venture also and Jordan, which is that what are we doing for the building? They'd been in it before many of the units were operational, and they were worried about the temperature. So with that, I'd like to move on to the sale of the building, which, as I mentioned earlier, We have an agreement. There were a number of questions. The original contract had language in it. It was not a condo building that had to be changed. There's a question about our obligation to report different violations, code violations, and how we had to word that. So that went back and forth longer than I or most of the board wanted to go on, but we have a final agreement. So the board has all seen that. And Randy, has that been posted on the Hammond North website? The
It is
contract?
under important announcements, yes.
So people can look at it. I know it's in, I doubt people will be able to read it and ask questions on it tonight, but clearly it's going to be up and they can send us written questions and we can try to address them or verbally at the next meeting we have. So for the board, which has received this, I don't know if there are any questions about the contract. Okay. So I'd like to propose a motion. Well, actually, let me, I should turn the chair over to Tim. You take the chair?
Okay. John, I understand you have a motion that you'd like to propose.
Yes. Okay. I have a motion that we approve the latest draft PSA, purchase and sale agreement, contract received by Isaac Heinz, today with Venture Capital.
I second it.
There, okay, Jan seconds. Is there any discussion by the board? Jan?
I just want to say for the owners, the people that have been working on this have been working on it hard over the last few weeks since we made the decision to accept their offer. It's not like we just got it today. We had to get to this point. That's all.
Okay. Chris?
My comment was similar. This has been turned over to attorneys, and they've worked through all of the questions, and we're good with the outcome. So it is not like something that has just sprung up. It's been ongoing for 2 weeks anyway.
Yeah, there's been a lot of discussion by owners about how come this has taken so long, and I guess that's what we need to emphasize is that this has gone back and forth between the attorneys a number of times in order to clarify certain conditions and stipulations. And Isaac is now comfortable with all the conditions and stipulations that we are agreeing to. Any further discussion? Any discussion from the owners?
Yeah, there's a chat question that says, how can we approve anything until we get the info from you on sale? I don't know what that means exactly.
Yeah. So it's unclear.
John,
I will say, maybe to answer that, if you go online, again, under important announcements, the offer, the intent to offer from the venture is on there. It mentions the price, it mentions the time frame, and yeah, that's all on there. And then, of course, as we said, the contract that we just got today finalized, it's on there. And so, yeah, I'm not sure what else you want to know.
And we talked about the offer on that previous board meeting and the specific around the financial part of it a little while ago. We voted to accept the offer.
I would say also in a different situation.
Given no further discussion, I call the motion to all those in favor. It's unanimous. John, I'll turn the meeting back over to you.
Okay, thank you, Tim. So the next item we have is the consent to sell committee. Jan?
Thanks, John. We are officially at six votes needed. Now, for those of you who thought we were at 5, We hoped we were. And I've had a rule about not counting a vote until I have that piece of paper out of the ballot box. But got a little zealous last time, and there were a couple there um, that didn't pass all the tests. There was some information that was incomplete on one form, and the other one we weren't sure about until today, but it came in. So we're down to 6 forms needed. We will still be communicating with the one person who submitted her form in an unacceptable way. She crossed out some things that just don't work. So we'll be talking to her. There are 2 more people, because I know people ask and want to know. So I'm going to try to be sensitive about this while also giving you information. There were Tom Dees has worked on this letter, and I know we mentioned that the last time too. But as it turned out, we couldn't finalize that and send it out to people until we got the contract signed. So that letter, that's all the missing data. Tom's revised it. I think it's a good letter. It has a lot of information about all the individual stages that have to happen. And that should also go out very soon. We think that there's a good chance that that will be enough to persuade 2 people to sign. One person feels we should get more money for the building. So yeah, we all do, and we're continuing that conversation. There are a couple of people involved in lawsuits, and that seems to get in the way a little bit. 2, 4, 5. Who am I missing? And then there's another person we're just continuing conversation with. So we're still hopeful. We think we're going to get these, and the last few we expected to be a challenge, and it's okay. We have some time. I know it's hard for people to be patient. We want them in. We want to get all the forms, and I think we're going to get them, but it's going to be a little longer. Any other questions on that?
No further questions? All right. Thank you, Jan. Yeah, anything in the chat?
Not yet.
Not directly, but it's sort of in the ballpark. If we left things in our units because we didn't want them, is that okay? Or do we have to get everything out? And if we have to get everything out, then by when?
We haven't heard anything from the prospective buyer. I don't believe at this point people have to remove other objects they left in the building if they don't want them. But with the contract hopefully probably signed tomorrow, I think that people should try to get anything they do want out. But I believe you can leave things. Okay. No other questions to move on. Rhonda, are you on the call for election committee report? Put your hand up, then it would come to the front. Is anybody else in the election committee on, or?
Well, Rhonda's on.
Rhonda's on.
She's muted.
Okay, Randy, can you find her and unmute her? There we go. There we go.
You get her? I don't see her.
Yeah, she's on the second panel.
Oh, there we are. Okay. Can you mute yourself, Rhonda? There you go. All right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I was waving, but I just couldn't say anything. So, all right. So, I'm just giving a quick report on the election committee. I think probably most of you have received one call and then a further email that has a lot more details to it. I would suggest you do read the email because it does have a lot more information. But I wanted to just verbally say it out loud too for people who either haven't gotten it, haven't read it, or something. So anyway, elections will be held on February 5th in 2026. So that'll be in February. There are 3 positions that are open. They are because Tom Deeds, John Moravitz, and Jan Welsh are all up in terms of their term being done. And each of them have let us know that they will run again. It also means then that candidates, there are openings for anyone who's interested in running. There are forms, and you just have to get a hold of the office. You can come in person and ask for them because the office is still open. That front door is still open. Or you can email or call the office to get forms and then just fill them out and complete them if you're interested in being a candidate for the board. And they have to be turned in by 4:30 p.m. on December 30th. It's a Tuesday, December 30th, before New Year's. So 2025. Current photo, I mean, it has all the directions for what you need to do. If you have any questions, certainly call the office or call anyone on the election committee. Proxies will still be able to be used, but if you used a proxy last year, it has to be within a year. So you will need to fill out another proxy for this year. Again, forms can be gotten from the office in those 3 ways, in person, on email, or phone call. But you are welcome to use a proxy. You just have to have a new form since the last election. We also want to state that because John Moravitz and Jan Welsh are running again, that Bruce Fairbanks and I will recuse ourselves from having any contact with candidates night. Questions for candidates, anything having to do with candidates night, and anything having to do with the actual ballots, either as they're coming in or or for election night. We will not participate in anything like that. Let's see. Oh, and you cannot be in arrears to vote, or you cannot be in arrears to run as a candidate. I think that's it. Feel free to ask any of us questions, and we will be giving you a lot more information once we have all the candidates' forms in by the end of December. Then in January, we'll be sending out information again about the candidates' night, about when questions have to be turned in, about who's running and how many candidates we have, and information early January and then throughout January. So I think that's it. Are there any questions?
Randy,
Chat question. I apologize if you answered this. I was distracted here. But the question is, how will the election be held? Will it be electronically or by paper ballot?
It will be by paper ballot. We are not really set up. Greg and I talked about that, and we are not really set up for electronic ballots. And so it will be by paper ballot, but they can be done in person. They can be mailed, and we are going to accept them by email.
other questions? The board or owners? Okay, well, thank you very much. And I think that was the last item that we had for this short meeting, so we can adjourn to an executive session. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
A
Second.
second? Second by Tom. All right, motion by Chris. All those in favor? All right, thank you very much.
John, save the
Yes.
chat, save the chat.
Yep, that's what I'm going for. Don't terminate yet. Okay, I have the chat.